Hello, hello. Good morning, good morning. Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome to another morning stream. This has been the longest week of my life. I feel like it's been a week since we were together, and it was the day before yesterday. So let me know how you've been the past couple of days. But I'm here again to get some work done. I really want to keep this morning routine going, and so far it's going. So Malin is here. Hello, bestie. Hi, Krunko. Hi, Allie. I was a little bit. Hudson and I made a date to sprint last night because we finally had our catch-up phone call that we'd been meaning to have for like months, honestly. Um, and we were talking about it, and she was like, "Let's just set a date, um, and all you have to do is just like open the documents and read what's there." And I really needed that like external accountability to like force me to like break the seal, as it were. Otherwise, I think I could have just like left it and been too afraid to open it for quite a while longer. So we did that. And now I feel like my brain is in two different places because I did get some ideas for that project. And of course, now this morning I'm turning back to Harris book. So it's funny, I have like all my print copies out on my living room table, like all my trophies, and just swapping back and forth between them has been fun. Uh, but yeah, that's me. So this morning I'm continuing to work on my revision checklist for Harris book. And the item I'm working on right now is my reverse outline. And I have pretty much finished my outline for Act 1, but something tells me that it's not quite there. And I need to think about it just a little bit more. There are still some things that I need to find a specific place to weave in. I've come up with a lot of new backstory for both of my characters, as well as a new character. So there's a new subplot getting introduced. Um, and there's new locations that I want to establish before I move on to Act 2. So I'm gonna resist the urge to rush, and I'm gonna probably go through my print copy, which I have to go get from said living room table, and just read it one more time to try and find places for all of that good stuff. And make sure that I'm like truly 100% confident in it before we move on. Um, Such a great way to get out of a slump, just no pressure, just read what's there. And being able to work back on a project after being on a different one is also so helpful. Yeah, honestly, I think I really needed to have done this work on Hare's book in order for my brain to be ready for Gemstone. Like I'm excited about applying this new everything I've learned from the creating character arcs book and trying to see how I can use that to like dig even deeper with Project Gemstone. I think that's exciting. I think I've learned a lot and grown a lot as a writer in the past year, so hopefully that's what we all would like to say. Um, so we'll see. We'll see. I'm gonna try and find a way to balance them a little bit better, and that might mean like working on Gemstone like once a week or a couple times a month. Um, but I still really want to finish Hare's book like in a finished kind of way. Um, I want to practice finishing projects. So I definitely want to see this one through to the end and not bunny hop around so much. But with that being said, I will get us into our sprint. It's going to be two 30-minute sprints, and then I will probably have to be on my way to go to work. So we've got a beautiful 30-minute seaside timer. I hope everybody's ready. Here's our first sprint, y'all. Good luck. Okay, friends. That was the end of our sprint. How did you do? That was good for me. Yeah, I think I found a place for everything that I needed to add, hopefully. Feels like that was a little too easy. But of course, this is the easy part. The hard part is actually going through and actually making all of the changes, right? But I think I found natural places to weave all that backstory in and kind of introduce the new stuff. And I hope I'm not forgetting anything, but I feel like that's pretty solid. And so as far as my outline, I do have a few boxes to fill in for my character traits, but then I'm done with Act 1. And I think I could move on to Act 2 in the next sprint potentially. So that is awesome because I want to start really rolling on this outline. um, Let me know how you guys did. Malin was going to eat lunch, and I'm very glad for that. Allie has coffee in hand, and I also can't remember when the last one was, as I said before. I feel like time is in a loop. And Cranko wished us good luck. This sounds so yummy. Ooh, lime juice and chili flakes. I've been making this dressing with olive oil, lemon, lime, minced garlic, and a bit of salt, and so good. Oh my God, I really respect you guys for making your own salad dressing. I am just way too lazy for that, but it sounds so good. 6:41 a.m. Why am I thinking of salads? Sounds delish. Alan made lunch and finished eating it now because I was distracted by Marco Polos. Oh, I love that you have that going with your best friend. That's really sweet. Hello, Ang. 688 words, but I came in at like 20 minutes. That's awesome. Great job. 149 words, struggling a little to find words to describe an action scene, which is basically the entire chapter. I feel this. I feel like action scenes are when I write my very slowest and I'm like clawing the words out of stone. They're not my favorite. So I'm with you. Even if it's easy, you're doing the work, so it's good. Thank you. I do believe I'm coming close to the end of Act 1. That's great news. Yes, absolutely crushed it. I just expected more, but I have to give myself grace because it's just came back from an exam. Wow. Hey, if I had test brain and my brain felt like soup and I got almost 700 words in 20 minutes, I would be very pleased. And Kringo got 23 lines. Are you annotating a poem, if I remember correctly, or writing a poem? Um, Let me know. That sounds like an amazing amount of progress. Um, Alrighty, friends. Well, if that's that, I will get us into our next sprint. Doo -doo. Honestly, that's so hard, even more impressive. Yes, we all did so well. Yeah, there's something really magical about this morning hour for me. Just feels really good to get to use some of my fresh brain on my projects. You know what I mean? Because I feel like I always start the day with work, and therefore some of my best brain just gets used up on work and feels very nice to get to save some of that for me. Well, what do you want to chat about, Malin? Don't want to write. Your lunch break's not going to last forever. Two completely different things. Math and language. Wow. That's a big demand on the brain. Krenko is writing a horror thriller book by hand, but I can't quickly figure out the word count, so I've just been doing lines instead. Okay, gotcha. Wow, what made you decide you wanted to write it by hand? I love this journey for you. And how long have you been doing it? My hand is hurting just at the thought. It's been, yes, I can imagine that lines would be a lot easier. I wish can just write, they did this and they did that, and then he kicked and then she punched. But no, there's so much happening. I feel like a cameraman scrambling to focus on everything at once. Ooh, yeah, that puts it very well when you feel like there's so much about a fight scene that you have to describe and capture. Because it's not just about, the punches and the kicks, but the emotions of it too and what they're really fighting about. It's a big challenge. I need to get some work into rules of survival. Feels weird calling it that and not Project Alien. Ooh, it's so fun that you have a working title, like a true working title, though, and it really suits the book, at least from what I know about it. Um, Hello, Hannah Grace. Welcome. Thanks for being here. Yes, I detest fight scenes actually. They're my least favorite. They're usually the scenes that I skip, not gonna lie, in my zero drafts. So I'm right there with you and I offer you my deepest sympathies and hopes and wishes and dreams. And good luck. Krinko, I'm only on chapter 6 right now, but I wrote the first year draft as a combination of hand/typing. I took a break from writing for a couple weeks and typing just wasn't working anymore. Oh, that, makes sense. Work with the medium that feels inspiring and that you can keep going with. And good for you for trying, to switch up your methods to see if that helped. And I hope it continues to help. To write a good fight scene, you probably do work it that way anyway. Like first, just the basic movements. She does this, he does that, and then beautify it later. And that's so true. Yeah. Allie, if you feel like you have to write this version first, they did this, they did that, he kicked, she punched, and just do like the police report version of it, then do it. And then your mind is free to focus on the deeper layers next time, now that you have kind of the surface level, at least bullet pointed, Doesn't have to be beautiful right now. Yes, you can't edit an empty page. Hello, Leah. Thanks for being here. And Helicopter, hi. I'm practicing writing instead of working on a book. I hope I can write a book someday, but my random short stories are all I've got. Short stories are great, and they're amazing, amazing practice. So good for you. Good for you honing your skills. So you don't lose track of the limbs. Yes. Good. I'm glad. I'm glad we could give you a little encouragement on a hard scene. Definitely the problem that I have for sure. Um, all right, friends, I am going to get us into our next sprint and last sprint probably. So make the most of these 30 minutes and we will catch up at the end. So good luck. right, there we go, friends. That is the end of our sprint. Oh my goodness. I had a harder time that time. I moved on to Act 2A, which is very exciting. And then I quickly stopped being excited and my brain started hurting because I think Act 2A is pretty muddy in my first version. I was definitely winging it at this part in the book, and I wasn't really like adhering to an outline until I got into probably part 2B. So I'm second guessing whether a lot of these scenes should be kept or if they should just be like entirely replaced with something else. And if so, what would that be? And I also just took a lot of time trying to figure out what the midpoint is. And I was stuck between two different options, but I think I know which one I want it to be. So yeah, that was just a lot of me squinting at my spreadsheet. But it's thinking work that needs to get done. So I'm glad we did it. And we cracked into Act 2, which is exciting. So let me know how you guys did. And we were talking about writing kind of a rough bullet point version of the fight scene. And Aang said, I actually employ this tactic for writing first drafts too. Put everything as if you're telling it to a friend and then beautify it by draft 2. Is the dialogue stilted and bad? Yes, that is the point. And I loved that. I think that was a very a great strategy. um, gosh, sorry, my StreamYard is being real laggy. Malin got 468 words in, which is awesome. Aang ate lunch. Good job. Act 2A are so hard. Like, what do you mean I have to deliver on the promise of my premise and give you fun games? Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. I was yeah, trying to sort out like the fun and games section and making sure that the midpoint really is like a swivel moment where after that my character is really going to start taking control of the situation, or at least they're going to try. And so trying to pinpoint exactly when that moment was in my draft and is it in the right place, etc., etc. I didn't write a lot, 249, but God, I'm loving the scene right now. Oh my gosh. I think, first of all, 249 is great. And the fact that you've switched around from feeling like you were on the struggle bus to loving the scene, I'm so excited to hear that. Good job. Hannah just replotted the next chapter and figured out some issues. And I love that. I love sorting through some issues. Leah did some work. Good job. And you're so excited to write it now. Yay. Good. Sounds like that was well worth it to just pause and replot a little bit. That's so real. I stared at a blank page for 20 minutes and then wrote 200 words in 10 minutes. Good job. Yeah, the thinking is writing. I really believe that. I need to outline my act 2 as well. Cranko is almost done with this chapter. I completely get the midpoint struggle. I still don't know my midpoint. Yeah, sometimes I feel like when I'm applying a structure like retroactively to a draft, it feels like I'm making it up because I could like make anything the midpoint, you know, with some massaging. So it doesn't feel as cut and dry as it probably should be if I was, you know, plotting correctly. So much to do in Act 2, for real. The sun came out, so I wrote outside, and now it's boiling hot. Oh, I'm jealous. It's been raining here in Atlanta for like a week. And when the sun is out, it's already been extremely hot. So I'm going into my summer depression, honestly, I think. Honestly, I think Act 1 for me is never actually Act 1, but a shortened version of Acts 1 and 2. I just don't care about setup. I want the payoff now, or I shrivel up and die. And I so agree with this. Yeah, my Act 1 is real short, and we're just boom. Like, I pretty much want to skip to fun and games all the time when I'm doing a zero draft, so I get this. Love your pseudo. Ooh, I don't know what this means. Um, yeah, I had some real issues figuring out what my change from Act 1 to Act 2 was. Yeah, had to find those little moments where Hera could make a decisive decision and make that stronger. It's raining here in Texas too. What's up with this weather in the South? Yeah, I'm really not loving it. Um, I would I would like it to be a beautiful 75 degrees. Where's that at, you know? I need to edit the video on this, but that was essentially my next vlog for Project Alien, me figuring it out with little cards. Ooh, I'm so excited to see this. Um, please edit this ASAP because I want to see how you figured it out. Using little cards sounds so fun. Oh no, doing Franglish again. That's okay. Maybe Malin can help with the Franglish. Um, Outlining is real tough. It's real tough. But I think it's making me better because it's a skill I'm very much still learning, I feel. So this is good work forcing me to learn how to plot. Honestly, so far, I think my best bet is actually retroactively adding prep for the Derby and how the main character got into the Derby, but it's so boring. Yes, I'm with you. I completely skipped all backstory and context when I wrote this zero draft, and I just like the book opens like 1 year after my character has been in some shit. And I didn't really want to explain anything that led up to the opening of the book, but I do need to, in fact, I fear. So I relate to this. Oh, pseudo equals pseudonym. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Um, I don't know if that was for me, but if it was for gays, perhaps, because I think that's one of the best names in the chat. Um, yes, thank you, Melon. Oh, saying that to gays. Yes, indeed. I would love to know the origin story behind this. Outlining is hard because I just want to write whatever. I've accepted that I'll be a plancer for life. I have a scene-by-scene outline, but I'm still straying a little here and there. And I think that's good. I'll be a plancer for life too. Oh gosh, I was watching a video yesterday where someone really put it into words, and I was like, oh, you get it. Who was it? Who was it? I think it was Brielle. I think it was Brielle's video about replotting, and she was talking about this transition from pantser to plotter, and you know, the feeling of, oh, if I do take that time to figure out the what's happening, then I can pants the how, and that's when pantsing is fun and not stressful. When I give myself enough information to pants in a fun way, where my brain isn't having to do the what's next, what's next, what's next, and my brain can just have fun working on the how does this come about, that is when pantsing is fun. And I think that's my planter identity in a nutshell. um, I was an edgy little teen making bad animatics and was like, I'm gonna make it. Everyone's gonna think gays everywhere. And then the name just stuck. And when did the Ariana avatar start? I thought it's Nicki, right? Yeah, it's a Nicki Minaj icon, but honestly, around the same time, I was so unserious. Phelps Warriors. I don't know that. Sorry, I'm an elder millennial. Yeah, I love knowing this origin story. The online lore. Yeah. Exactly. Alrighty, friends. It is 8:55 where I am, which means I have 5 minutes to log on to work. So I do have to leave us there. Womp womp. But it was so nice being with you all. Thanks for starting my morning off on a positive note. Elder Millennials Unite. And thank you for being with me. And, we got some good work done. I'm pretty happy. So stay tuned. I definitely want to do some more morning streams. Not tomorrow because Alyssa will be morning streaming tomorrow. So I'll hopefully be in the chat for that. And maybe we can make Tuesday, Thursdays a thing. If no one else has this time slot, then I may claim it. But no promises. So just keep an eye out. Thank you for coming. Yes, swap good computer for bad computer. Thank you guys. Thanks for coming. Oh, it came from Warrior Cats. Very fun. Wow, so much lore that I don't know about. Malin might do a pop-up after work, 8 p.m. UK time, which I would love. I was going to ask you if you are planning to stream later today so that I can then have some company during my workday. Yeah, see you guys in tomorrow's stream with Alyssa. Thank you guys. Love you so much. Have a great day. I'll see you somewhere on the internet very soon, I'm sure. Bye.